Hello, everyone. A pleasant afternoon to my co-masters and also to our very own professor. Ma'am, good afternoon. So before we dive into our discussion proper, allow me to introduce myself first. So by the way, I am Roberto Caliwa from Tampilisan, Zamboanga del Norte. And today I will be your first reporter, and we are going to explore an essential part of our identity, and that is the culture. Culture shapes who we are, how we interact with others, and how we view the world. It also influences everything from the way we speak to the traditions we follow. We will also discuss about the elements, why it matters, and how it shapes our daily lives. Okay, so introduction to culture, exploring elements, importance, practices, beliefs, and values. So let us define first what is culture. So when we say culture, it is the way of life of a group of people. So this includes their customs, traditions, beliefs, and behaviors. It also influences how people communicate, what they eat, how they celebrate, and even their values. For example, here in the Philippines, no, in our country, culture includes this what we call bayanihan. So it is a traditional of community cooperation where neighbors help each other move houses or complete tasks. So the other countries have also their own culture, no? Like in Japan, culture emphasizes respect and discipline, and this can be seen in their bowing gestures and punctuality. So that is what we call a culture. So now let's proceed to the customs. So when we say customs, these are common practices that people follow within a particular group or society. They are often linked to greetings, celebrations, or daily routines. So customs can be done through greetings, through celebrations, or our daily routines. Just like, for example, here in our country. So here in the Philippines, our common custom is saying po and opo when speaking to elders. No, that's a sign of respect. No, in other country they have also their own customs, just like in France. So greetings friends with a kiss on both cheeks instead of a handshake in the country of France is their practice. So definitely when we say customs, it has something to do with the common practices followed by people of a particular group. So now let's proceed to discuss what is traditions. So traditions are beliefs or behavior passed down from one generation to another. So they help keep a community's identity and history alive. So for example, in our traditions here in the Philippines, one of our traditions is this what we call Simbang Gabi. No, as we all know, Simbang Gabi is a tradition where people attend early mass, no, early morning mass for 9 days before Christmas. And other country, they also have their own tradition. So for example, in China, so the Lunar New Year is a tradition where families reunite, give red envelopes, and celebrate with fireworks. That is also their tradition, no? The Lunar New Year. So it is all about the beliefs or behaviors passed down within a society. So now let us define also what is beliefs. So when we say beliefs, these are ideas or principles that people accept as true. They can be they can be a religious, moral, or philosophical. For example, as Filipinos believe in pasma. No, pasma, it is the idea that sudden changes in temperature, like taking a bath after sweating, no, that can cause illness. In India also, in other country, many people believe in karma, no, the idea that good or bad actions will bring corresponding consequences in the future. So that is what we call beliefs. How about behaviors? So when we say behaviors, these are the ways people act or conduct themselves in the society. They are shaped by culture and social expectations. So it has something to do with the ways in which people act or conduct themselves. For example, here in the Philippines, no, people often practice mano po, no? It is a gesture of respect to elders by taking their hand and pressing it to the forehead. So in other countries, just like in the United States, no, some people value personal space and may avoid standing too close to strangers. So that is their behavior. So they quite different from ours. So that is what we call behaviors. Okay, so at this moment, we will discuss what are the elements of culture. Now, culture consists of several key elements that define a society. So let's go through them one by one with examples. So number one element is language. So language is the system of communication used in a culture. For example, here in the Philippines, Filipino and English are widely spoken, but there are also over 170 regional languages and dialects like Cebuano, Ilocano, and Hiligaynon. So that is number one element of a culture, that is the language. Number two is this what we call traditions and customs. So when we say tradition and customs, now these are practices passed down through generations. Just like for example, here in the Philippines, no? We Filipinos celebrate Simbang Gabi, which is an important religious and a cultural tradition. So that is all about tradition and customs. So the third element is the social organization. So when we say social organization, it is the way people in a society interact with one another. So for example, in the Philippines, the close family ties are highly valued, and many families live in an extended household with grandparents, aunts, and uncles. So that is a social organization. It's all about the structure of relationships within a society. So the fourth element is what we call the religion and beliefs. So when we say religion and beliefs, it talks about the faith, the values that guides people's lives. For example, the majority of Filipino practice Christianity, particularly Catholicism, and religious events like Holy Week are observed nationwide with special traditions such as processions and fasting. So the fifth one is the arts and literature. So these are creative expressions that reflect a culture. For example, folk dances like Tinikling, Cariñosa showcase the country's cultural heritage, while literature like Ibong Adarna also reflects as our traditional storytelling. So it is all about the creative works that reflect our cultural values. So the sixth element is the government and economy. So the government and economy, it's the system that manage laws and resources. For example, our democratic government. No, here in the Philippines has a democratic government where citizens vote for their leaders in national and local elections. So it has something to do with the systems that manage laws and resources. So the last element of culture is the technology and innovations. So it's all about the developments that shape societies. For example, the Philippines is known as the texting capital of the world because of its high volume of mobile text messaging. Filipinos are also highly active on social media. So it's all about the tools and advancements shaping our society. So that is for technology and innovations. So all of these elements need to work together to form the culture of a society. No, every country, ethnic group, and even family has its own unique customs, traditions, beliefs, and behaviors that shape their way of life. So now let's discuss the importance of culture. So culture is important because first, it shapes our identity. So it defines who we are and connects us to our ancestors. For example, wearing the Tabarong Tagalog and Barot Saya during formal events. So that reflects our Filipino heritage and pride. The second reason why culture is important because it defines values and norms. So it helps us understand right from wrong and how to behave in society. For example, utang na loob or debt of gratitude is an important Filipino value and emphasizes deep appreciation and reciprocity. So the third one is it preserves traditions and heritage. So it keeps history alive for future generations. So for example, the Bahay Kubo or Nipa hut. It represents traditional Filipino architecture and is still found in rural areas today. So the fourth one, why culture is important, because it brings communities together. So it creates a sense of belonging and unity. So here in our country, the annual fiesta celebrations in different provinces bring people together to celebrate their town's patron saint with food, music, and also dancing. So the last one, why culture is important, it because it inspires creativity and artistic expression. So it encourages new ideas in music, art, literature, and fashion. So Filipino artists like Juan Luna and Fernando Armorsolo have contributed significant works to the world of art. So those are the reason why culture is important. Again, first, it shapes our identity. Number two, it defines values and norms. The third one, it preserves traditions and heritage. The fourth one, it brings communities together. And also, number five, it inspires creativity and artistic expression. So it's all about identity, norms, heritage, social cohesion, and creativity. So we are done discussing about the importance of culture. Now let's proceed to the cultural practices. So cultural practices, these are everyday activities and traditions that people follow as part of their culture. So this include celebrating festivals. So celebrating festival in the Philippines, like Sinulog Festival in Cebu, is one of the most famous cultural events celebrating Santo Niño or the child Jesus with street dancing and colorful costumes. Another cultural practice is eating traditional foods. Here in our country, Filipinos love dishes like adobo, lechon, and pancit, which are often served during special occasions and gatherings. Another one, practice wearing specific clothing, like Barong Tagalog for men and Barot Saya for women, are worn during formal events and national celebrations. Another one practice, cultural practice, is following social etiquette. So Filipinos are known for using po and opo when speaking to elders, as what I have said earlier, and that's a sign of respect. Another common practice is pasalubong, no, where travelers bring home gifts for family and friends. So those are the practices, cultural practices, example of in a Filipino culture. No, other country they also have their cultural practices as well. So now we are now down to beliefs and values. So beliefs are ideas that people hold as true, which values are principles that guide behavior. So these are the examples. First, we have respect. So when we say respect, it's all about treating others with kindness and consideration. So in Filipino culture, mano po is a traditional gesture of respect to elders. So the second, belief and values. Example, we have honesty. So honesty, being truthful and sincere. No? Filipino believe in mabuting asal or a good character and value integrity in both personal and professional life. So the third example of beliefs and values, we have equality. So when we say equality, it is all about ensuring fairness for everyone. So many Filipinos advocate for equal opportunities for men and women in education and employment. So that is all about equality. So the last example, we have family. So prioritizing relationships and support systems. Example, Filipino families are known for their bayanihan spirit, which means helping each other in times of need. So those are the following examples under beliefs and values. Again, we have first respect. So it's all about treating others with kindness and consideration. Second one, honesty, being truthful and sincere. The third one is equality. It's all about fairness for everyone. And lastly, we have family. It's all about prioritizing relationship and support system. So with my discussion about culture, I realized that culture is a powerful force that shapes our identity and influences our way of life. By understanding our different cultures fosters respect, empathy, and appreciation for diversity. So before I end with my report this afternoon, I want to emphasize that culture is a big part of who we are. It influences how we speak, what we eat, how we celebrate, and how we treat others. So every culture is unique, and that makes the world an interesting and colorful place. By learning about different cultures, we can understand people better, respect their traditions, appreciate our own heritage, and even more. We need to remember always that our culture is something we inherit from our ancestors, but it's also something we continue to shape every day. So thank you, teachers, for listening to my report this afternoon. I hope you take with you the lesson that culture connects us all. And by respecting and celebrating differences, we create a more understanding and united world. So that ends my discussion about the introduction of culture. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much, teachers, for listening. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon also to our professor.